Welcome back, everyone, to our playthrough of the career mode here in NASCAR Heat 2. So we're coming off of a good race in Daytona. We had some fun. Again, Daytona and Talladega is a place where you sort of have to make your own fun just because of the way the AI race. But I think we had a good time at the last race and had a good finish, and again, had some good fun along the way. Now it's time to move back to the mile-and-a-half tracks with Kentucky. Now, an interesting thing about Kentucky, AI issues aside, Kentucky has a banking seam that you can feel roughly halfway up the track, particularly in turns 1 and 2. And the seam that I'm referring to is where the banking increases. And what happens to you is if you try to straddle this, or if you're not aware that it's there and you're trying to run around the middle of the track, then the car will get extremely loose. How loose can be depending on your setup, but if you like to run a loose setup, then it will definitely make it quite a bit looser. And if you're tight, it can actually help the car to rotate a little bit. But again, that's not something that you generally have to worry a whole lot about, and you can adjust your setup to deal with that. And the setups that we're using here in the career mode, that's really not much of an issue. And if anything, like I said, you might be able to even use it as a way to help the car turn a little bit. So this should be an interesting race. Before we get started, let's go ahead and take a quick look at our upcoming schedule. So we're coming off of Daytona. Again, great run at Daytona. Had a great finish. And then you can see there the Sonoma race that I have not posted that I mentioned last time. Something I don't think I mentioned previously, we were actually running 12th on the last lap in that race and then got involved in a wreck. I'm actually surprised we didn't finish worse than 16th because we were spinning through the gravel for quite a while, it felt like. So I'm surprised we didn't fall any farther back than 16th. But today's video is going to be about Kentucky. Then we'll move on to New Hampshire. I absolutely love New Hampshire. Those long straightaways and then the heavy braking going into the long, very wide corners makes it a lot of fun. It can be challenging to pass there, but man, it's a lot of fun to drive. And then after that, we're off to Indy for the Brickyard. And the Brickyard 400 is in the real world hasn't been all that good of a race in quite some time because of the aero dependencies and the high speeds there. Makes it very hard to pass and run side by side. But in the game, we'll have to see how it goes. But for now, it's time to head to Kentucky. All right, before we get this race started, let's take a quick look at the setup we'll be using. Now, this setup is actually identical to what we used here the last time. So I've made 0 changes. I basically just loaded up the track, and here we are. Now, I made it a point to not look back at our last results at this track to see exactly how we did, because I don't want to go in with any preconceived notions about how good we should run in this race. You guys feel free to do that if you want to. Stop the video now and go back and search and see how we did the last time we were here, which might have actually been, let's see. I'm not sure if we were in a 3-4 or a 5-star vehicle in that particular race, the hot seat offer. But again, I made it a point not to go back and look at that because I didn't want to come in with any preconceived notions. So let's go ahead and get started and see how we do. All right, here we go. Green flag at Kentucky, 35 lap. And let's see how close to the front we can get. See what kind of car we've got. Love using the outside lane here, particularly in 1 and 2. You just have to be careful because the AI a lot of times will cut you off on corner exit. Now, traditionally here, our strong suit is turn 1 and 2. That's where we make all of our passes and our speed. And then 3 and 4 we struggle. And the AI seem to be faster, sometimes a good bit faster than us through that set of corners. So right now you can see us just cruising by these guys in turn 1 and 2. All right, they're giving us the top side all the way down the back. All right, I do enjoy running this high side. Man, this is fun to run up here, even in turn 3 and 4 where we're not quite as fast. All right, now we get up behind Menard. Let's hope they don't get back to 3 wide. You can see, unless they're 3 wide, they generally will give you plenty of room up here through the corner on the high side. Oh, Little bump there from somebody. Ooh, watch out. Holy cow. That was almost a wreck. So right now we are in 19th place. Car is handling very nicely. Of course, it's tight, as we set out for it to be, but the handling is really good, and surprisingly is better than I would have thought for turn 3 and 4. It's a little bit better through there. You can see whenever I get back to the gas, the car wants to go straight rather than rotate. That's the whole point of the setup. It forces us to scrub off more speed. But that's our biggest problem in turn 3 and 4, is that I have to wait a little bit longer than I would like before I can get back to the gas. I'll try to get down a little bit lower this time through there. Okay, not bad. So we're starting lap 6, and we are in 18th place, 30 laps to go. Not bad at all. I've already passed quite a few cars, a little bit over half the field at this point. And as long as they're still running side by side, as we catch them, we can pass them 2 and 3 at a time. Ooh, watch out, 14 car. Not getting through that corner well at all. So that's definitely hurting our momentum. I figured he was going to be a good deal faster than us. That's the reason I followed him down into the corner. It's usually just a given that the AI will be a good bit faster than us through turns 3 and 4. Ooh, look out there, 43 car. Sideways. That's not necessarily a horrible thing. It means that his car's rotating well, maybe a bit too well. Alright, we'll try to make a few more passes. Like 3 cars gonna, yep, he's gonna come right up in front of us. 3 car did not get through the center of the corner very well at all. It's always interesting to see the AI cars whenever they get really loose or tight. Ooh, I did not get through that corner good at all. Alright, so we're up to 14th as we come to finish up lap number 9. And so far, all is well. We're at a point now in the race where things are starting to get a little bit more spread out, and we're catching cars more 1 or 2 at a time, as opposed to, 3, 4, 5. Oh, watch out. So again, 1 or 2 at a time is usually perfectly fine. Alright, we should be able to make the pass in turn 1 if I can get through this corner better. Alright, there we go. You can see the 11 down to the inside. He's no threat, and the 31 is going to give us room on the outside.
All clear, all clear.
Okay, yep. Turn 3 and 4 there wasn't terrible by our standards, but still not as good as I would prefer to get through there. All right, 24 more laps to go. Really motored around this high side in 1 and 2. Wow, he gave us no room coming off that corner. Try to get down here toward the bottom, see how we handle down here, and already I can tell you that was really tight. Really tight. But we got a little bit of clean track in front of us. That does not, however, mean that I'm just going to rush right back to the bottom. Not at all. I do plan on running some laps down there if we get a good opportunity, but right now we're motoring quite well on the high side. So for the most part, I want to stay up there. We may run a few laps down on the bottom and just see how it feels. And see if our spotter tells us that our lap times are better than at the top. If so, woo, watch out. Got down too low there. Got down onto the flat, and that would not have ended well. So you can see right in front of us, that is a mess. And I mean a mess. That is, I don't even know how many cars. What is that, about 6 cars up there, maybe more? 6, 8 cars, all conceivably fighting for position. Although we're far enough into the race, I guess some of the slower cars could begin to get lapped. Your guys like DJ Kennington, the Moving Chicane, and maybe Corey LaJoy and a few of them like that. See, right now I was very close to that banking transition, and I didn't feel a thing. So with this particular setup, it's not really a problem for us, and we can run really anywhere we want to on the track without having to worry about the car getting too loose. And of course, as soon as I say that, the next time we go through there and hit that seam, the car will get uncontrollably loose. That's just the way it goes sometimes, but it shouldn't. Alright, so we're obviously catching these guys, and I'm trying to very quickly scan and see if they're all or mostly lead lap cars, or if we're going to have to deal with some lap traffic along the way. And they look like mostly lead lap cars from my quick glances. Not using any brakes through the corners, maybe just a quick touch of the brake on corner entry, but that's really it. And the touch of the brake that I'm referring to is maybe 5% brake. I mean, basically it's just a rhythm thing as much as anything for me. As I lift off the gas, I simultaneously tap the brake just a little bit, just as a part of my rhythm. But for the most part on these big tracks, 1.5-mile, 2-mile type tracks, I try not to use the brake as much as possible. I try to let the car just sort of naturally float through the corner as much as I can. Ooh, look at the 2 car up there. He is not having a good corner. He was really out of shape. Okay, so the top 10 is right in front of us. And we got 16 laps to go get it. Alright, we are coming up very quickly on these guys. And I'm not in a rush to take this 3 wide. See the 1 car there get really loose. Wow, he is out of control. Give him a little bit of room there. Backed off the throttle early for him. As much as I want to pass cars, I'd really prefer that we come out the other side in one piece as well. Alright, so you can see the 1 car faster than us through 3 and 4 easily. Then we get down here to turn 1 and 2 and we return the favor. There we go, so we make the pass. And right ahead of us, you can see the 24 car. that got by a little bit earlier when the one car got out of control. These guys are fighting very hard in front of us. And they're running too wide, which means that the high side isn't really going to be available to us. And Brad Keselowski is already mad at us. Okay, I'm getting away from him when he does that. That was a big slide for him. His back end was really hanging out. So I would really prefer these guys to get single file up here, and then we can deal with them on the high side one by one. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen because they are just side by side with no signs that that's going to change anytime soon. Again, we've got plenty of speed to do something with them, but when we get down here to 3 and 4, everything changes. All right, 10 laps left. And again, oh! Wow, that was huge. That was huge. I'm not sure how I missed that, quite frankly. I knew I was going to T-bone somebody. So we picked up 2 spots. Jamie McMurray is going to make the pass on us now, so that will move us up. We're still in the top 10, though. Woo, that was close. That was close. So we got 9 laps to go. We're going to pull. Oh my goodness, one car. You cannot do that. That's one of the things that the AI definitely love to do in this game. If they believe they're clear by a ½ inch, they'll take it and they'll run right up in front of you, even if they're going a good bit slower than you. That is not advisable. The math might say that yes, technically you are clear, but all things considered, you are anything but. All right, so this has been some good racing. The tense moments aside with the wrecks and the almost wrecks, this has been some really good racing. This is the kind of stuff that I like. Woo, way up the track here. So we've gotten to the top 10 one way or another. We're getting no pressure from behind, so that's good. That means that we can focus all of our efforts on the cars in front of us. And right now, I must say, the one car, even though we are definitely faster through 1 and 2, he is a good bit faster than us in 3 and 4, which basically leaves us at a stalemate. Because again, you can see right here, we're neck and neck. We get down into the corner, and he will pull back out in front of us. I'm just trying to stay as close to him as I can. Okay, this is by far closer than we've been to him coming off that corner. All right, let's see if we can clear him going through this corner. And okay, so far so good. Now I'm going to try to, if I can, get down the track toward the bottom. There we go. All right, so we kept him from getting back underneath us. So now that moves us up to 9th and 4 laps to go. All right, now these two guys in front of us are going to be slower because it appears that the 24 is just running right in the 41's footsteps.
Hold your line.
And that usually doesn't help either one of you. All right, so we're going to be right on the 24's back bumper, or maybe even out to the side and going into turn 1, and that bodes well for us. All right, there we go. The 41's going to keep low on the straightaway, and we're going to try to get down. No, couldn't get down low enough. So you can see the 24 coming right back underneath us. And I believe that's the lap car, the 72, in front of the 41. All right, 41's going to have to take evasive action to try to get past. And, oh, watch out. I had to take some evasive action to try not to hit him. Here comes the one right back in our rear view. As you can see, the 72 swerving all over the place as a moving chicane. The AI do a terrible job with passing lap traffic, and I would also add that the lap traffic do a terrible job of giving room. At worst, the lap traffic needs to just sort of stay in the same place. But they seem to even have trouble doing that. All right, but after 35 laps, we will come home in 8th. So again, a very fun race. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Not bad, a top 10 finish. Car felt good during the race, so I'm happy. And who would be the winner? But Kyle Busch. So that will give him, I believe, 3 wins on the season and move him into a tie for second in the points with Jimmie Johnson. So here we show in second place, but again, the point standings they're showing here, we are not interested in. It does verify that this is indeed Kyle Busch's 3rd win, which will tie him for second position with Jimmie Johnson. That's what we're more concerned with, the playoff points. All right, so we come home with the fastest lap, and which is a nice consolation prize, but we're still 8th. All right, so we're now up over 5.2 million fans. We'll take it, and $16.3 million. So now that sets us up nicely to go to New Hampshire. Now we've got a couple of competitors that are closing in on us as far as wins, particularly Kyle Busch after his latest victory at Kentucky. So New Hampshire is traditionally a good track for us. We'll have to see what we want to do with the setup there and see how well we want to try to run. But of course, that will be in our next video. For now, thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned for more NASCAR Heat 2.